There's excitement around Ole Miss football again, thanks to the hiring of Lane Kiffin as the Rebels head coach. With NCAA sanctions and 2 mind-numbing seasons under Matt Luke in the rearview mirror, Rebel football is getting a fresh start. And the most important piece in this new beginning for Ole Miss will be the starting quarterback. But who will it be? Ole Miss has 7 quarterbacks on its roster right now, but in all reality, there's only 3 guys who are in the mix for that starting job. It's John Rhys Plumlee, Matt Corral, and Grant Tisdale. Plumlee started 8 games for the Rebs last season, and he was one of the most exciting freshmen in the SEC. But most of his success came on the ground. He rushed for over 1,000 yards and 12 total touchdowns, while throwing for just 901 yards and 4 TDs with 3 interceptions. That was the biggest criticism of Plumlee. While he was undoubtedly the most important playmaker for the Rebs, he lacked the ability to throw the football, which hurt Ole Miss. Matt Corral started in 4 games a year ago, including the season opener against Memphis, but he didn't wow anyone with his arm either. In 10 games, Corral threw for a little over 1,300 yards with just 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Grant Tisdale is probably the most intriguing quarterback on the roster right now. He played just 1 game, but that was against number 2 Alabama, and he looked pretty darn good in the limited time we saw him. He was 2 for 2 through the air for 56 yards and a touchdown. He also ran twice for 10 yards. While we don't know too much about Grant because, well, he didn't really get to play a lot a year ago, we can go off of his high school tape, and that is pretty impressive. He was 30-1 as a starter in Texas and was a top 15 dual-threat quarterback coming out of high school. So which one of these guys fits Lane Kiffin's coaching style the best? Honestly, all of them. If you look at Kiffin's body of work in college football, he really doesn't have a specific style of quarterback that he favors. No matter who it is, Kiffin usually makes it work for his system. The one thing you do have to possess is a playmaking ability. So while you don't have to be an elite passer or an elite rusher, there has to be some level of balance, and you have to kind of do one thing just a little bit better than the other. Let's take a look at his past. As a head coach of Tennessee, Kiffin turned Jonathan Crompton from a 3-year backup with a combined 9 touchdowns into a viable SEC starter. In 1 season under Kiffin, Crompton threw for 2,800 yards and 27 touchdowns to just 13 interceptions. It was enough to get Crompton drafted into the NFL. As a head coach of USC, Kiffin developed Matt Barkley into one of the best quarterbacks in the country in the 2011 season. Barkley set multiple school records that season and led USC to a 10-2 record, finishing with the 6th most votes for the Heisman Trophy, and this came amidst a brutal NCAA ruling that stripped 30 scholarships from USC. Remember Blake Sims at Alabama? In his first year as a Crimson Tide offensive coordinator, Kiffin took Sims, who was previously used as a running back and a wide receiver, and made him a quarterback who led Alabama to an SEC championship win and an appearance in the college football playoff. Sims would also break the Alabama single-season passing yards record in his lone season as the starting quarterback for the Tide. Sims is the best example of what Kiffin can do if, like I mentioned, you have a playmaking ability. Sims wasn't an elite passer before Kiffin, and honestly, he wasn't an elite rusher either. That's why Kiffin has 5 different conference championships with 5 different starting quarterbacks: Blake Sims, Jacob Coker, and Jalen Hurts at Alabama, and Jason Driscoll and Chris Robinson at FAU. Sims, Coker, and Hurts were all first-year starters, and all 3 won the conference and played in the college football playoff. So if you're worried about John Rhys Plumlee's passing ability, look at the examples that just provided, like Blake Sims, who wasn't remotely an elite passer before Kiffin, and his rushing stats were nowhere close to the numbers Plumlee put up a year ago either. Matt Corral has enough of an arm and enough of an ability to move around the pocket for Kiffin to work with, and Tisdale feels like the perfect fit for Lane Kiffin's system with his dual-threat ability. That's why the Lane Kiffin hire is so exciting for Ole Miss. The Rebels have historically been a quarterback-centric program, and Kiffin is one of the best developers of quarterbacks in college football. So rest assured, Rebel fans, the QBs are in good hands under Lane Kiffin. For the Ole Miss Spirit, I'm Sudu Upadhyaya.